Morning everybody, hope you're all well today. I just want to show you how to make a floral mixed media piece. So I just wanted to show you quickly how to start. So what you need is a box of some kind. Ideally, if you want this to last for a long time, it should be plastic. So you could use an ice cream tub or anything like that. But I just had this box to hand and it's quite nice, so I thought I'd use this. I'm going to just put a coat of black acrylic paint on the foreground surface. Let that dry. And then you can either trace or freehand draw the head of Ganesh. Ganesh is an Indian Hindu god, onto your box. Now, if you don't want to do an elephant, or you can do anything, you can do any animal, you could do a face, it's up to you. You can take a screenshot of the original image, which is at the beginning of the tutorial, and trace it on there or freehand draw it. It's up to you, or just make it up as you're going along. On the back, inside the box, I'm going to put a plastic carton. This is just a salad cress carton, and I'm going to stick it inside there like that. And the reason is because we're going to put water in there later on, because we're going to insert flowers through the top of this box and into the water, so the water will keep the flowers fresh. I'll show you the finished item at the end. So there's your box. You've painted it with black. Now, if you haven't got any black acrylic, you can always paint it with black watercolour, or you can just leave the box the colour it was. You know, this brown colour is really nice. Just remember, if it's a paper, or if you're going to stick paper on, then you can't paint it. But there's no problem with that. If you're going to use these pens, like I'm going to suggest, you could easily stick a piece of paper on there, black paper or orange paper, any colour, because we're going to use these pens. These are called Posca pens. I use them all the time. They're acrylic markers. If you haven't got these, you can use Sharpies. They'll just do as well, or even just plain felt tips, or even pencil crayons. And you're going to go over your pencil lines with these colours. And the next stage, I'm going to speed up, okay, so that you don't have to watch that stage. So enjoy the fast film. Okay, so now we've got our box, which is painted black with acrylic paint, wooden box, cardboard box, plastic box, our Ganesh image with Posca pens on the surface once this is dry, the black surface. And we've got a plastic pot stuck down on the back. So the next thing is to just pierce some holes in the top. So we're just going to randomly, using a bradawl or a compass or a kebab stick, a metal one, just randomly press some holes into this top surface. Make some quite large by wiggling it around like that, because some of the stems of the flowers are quite thick, so you might need to get something a bit thicker to make these holes with for some of your flowers. I've just been out. Be careful that you don't stab yourself. If you're doing this at home and you're a younger person, then please get some help. Keep your hands away from the pointed part of your bradawl or compass. So in order to make some bigger holes, I can just take the end of a paintbrush or something like that and just make some, just expand those holes a bit. Obviously it depends on what flowers you've collected. So I've just gone out into the garden and I've collected a series of flowers. So I've got some chocolate daisies, some white roses. I also picked out some grasses and some Jacob's ladder and other bits and bobs. So pick a variety, go for some colour. You know, we've got some yellows here and some blues, which are really beautiful purple colours. The purple's picked up in the grasses. Okay, so nice variety, and you want nice long stems, and ideally just pick off any leaves, and we're just going to start to pop these through the holes and make sure that they reach the back of the tub. So you can see now that I have a problem with the fact that I've got just a pair of scissors. I've got some long stems here, too long for the, I mean, you could have the flowers coming right up high. I mean, I'll leave some in there like that, but just make sure that they reach the water in the back. So let's have some standing up tall. Any florist will tell you to cut the stems on an angle. You can just do it with a pair of scissors so that you have an angle like that, so more water will go up into the flower. Just check and make sure. So that's a lower one. So we're going to have some, we're also going to have some coming out the front here. So before I start, I'm just going to put some holes in this way as well. So again, think about potentially where you're going to put these flowers, but to link the top of the box to the head of your Ganesh, it would be good to have some flowers around this area also, so that, can you see that now? And like I said, just make them bigger using a larger implement. So I'm just going to pop in one of the roses just to show you. So this rose is a climbing rose. It's a little bit deckled. We had some heavy rain yesterday, so it's up to you whether you use plants that are slightly worse for wear or not. There's a little bit of water on here as well, so just pop that in. Again, just check and make sure that the rose hits the tub at the back so that it remains watered. We have a join there, right? I'm just going to pinch that off so that it goes all the way through and down and into the water. So you can see that that's sticking out a touch. So it's probably best that we don't use the bunches of flowers, because we want in that circumstance we want this rose to be nice and tight. Can you see like that? Okay, so I'm just going to carry on. There's no reason why you can't put short stem stuff in, but obviously that is not going to last as long because it's not touching the water. So I'm just going to pop those in anyway, just to speed things up a bit. So there you have it. Look how pretty. So let's go for some slightly long ones. I'm going to put a daisy, take off the leaves. The stem will go through the box a lot easier if you take the leaves off. And in that goes. Can you see how nice that is now? We've got some little insects crawling around. They're very welcome. Now on that front we probably want a bit of colour. So I'm just going to take one of these. And it's got buds all the way down. So I'm going to take those off. And then I'm going to trim it a little like that. And I'm going to pop it in that hole there. So again, if the buds are getting in the way, they'll just ping off actually as you pull this through. But again, just make sure that the stem reaches the tub at the back. What next? We'll have some more colour, I think. We'll use a bit of this Jacob's Ladder, I think it's called. Now this again is a bunch flower, so either put it up the top. Let's have it. Now that's quite thick. Is it going to go through that hole? Oh, yes, just. So again, I'll have that sticking out a little. Has it gone in the back? Just. I'm going to take that lower spike off there. So all the way through. There we go. And just keep going until you've finished. Now you can watch me do this, or you can speed it up, fast forward through the tutorial. Let's see now, it's up to you. I've just got some of this lovely white wildflower here. I've got some wildflowers growing, and the nice thing about that is that it just does cascade a little bit. So I'm going to put another piece of that on the other side, I think. This is a cross between art and flower arranging. So on that side, through the hole, we got another little bug. I might put this outside so that the bugs can escape later. Pull it down as far as you can. There we go. Now it's building up quite nicely. You can see there, but we still need some flat. So I'm going to use these bulk daisies, and I'm going to put them down and try and get a good link between the top of the box and the image. So I hope you're all keeping well. I know some of the shops have reopened in England, but here in Wales we're still on our 5-mile limit as to how far we can go out of the house to exercise. So we still don't have pubs, restaurants, shops open other than food shops. It won't be long before we're on our 3-month so here we go, and down we go like that. The more you put in, the nicer it looks. So if you haven't got flowers in your garden. You might not have flowers. You can make flowers out of tissue paper. I mean, you know, you may even have some plastic flowers in a flower display somewhere. You could even just paint flowers onto the box. It's not absolutely necessary that you use wildflowers and flowers from real flowers from your garden. But I don't think that's going to go through there. So where's my paintbrush gone? Oh, there it is, hiding under all the bits. But you know, you can go out and collect some wildflowers. This tutorial was inspired by an image that I saw a couple of weeks ago using pressed flowers. And one of my students started the process of making a pressed flower piece of art and sent it in, and I'll put an image of that on this tutorial at the end. So, you know, it's a nice thing to do. Now, have I run out of holes? I'm nearly out of holes. I can see one there. So I'm just going to pop this through here. As you can see, the stiffer stems are working really well, as opposed to the sort of weaker stemmed plants. So if you can get ones that are sort of thick and strong, then more the better. I'm just going to put another hole here. You can keep adding holes, just be gentle. Oops. With the rest of your display. Keep looking through to the back just to check that they're all, obviously I haven't put any water in there yet, because obviously it would be tipping everywhere. I think we got a couple of roses here left. Might have those up the back here. Another hole, just put another hole there. Oop. Oh, that's a bit, if the stem is a bit squashy, just cut it again, put a point onto it, and then it'll go through a lot easier. Pull it through from behind, and then position your flowers so that they're not just sticking the wrong way, like that. Now, how are we looking? If any sort of start to tumble out, you can always stick them at the back with a bit of tape. So how are we looking? Actually, that's looking really lovely. So you can see the process. Can you see that? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll continue with this and I'll finish it off, and then I'll show you, I'll put a picture of the final piece at the end of the session. Okay, thanks for joining in. Please leave comments in the comments box below and subscribe if you want to receive notifications about new tutorials and updates. Check out the links. And also, I will have some news soon about my summer art club. Stay safe. See you again. Bye.